Yo, hey, welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. Do me a favor, give me sorry, my name's the Nerd Man, host of With Enough Prep Time. Do me a favor, give me a high five as soon as you start watching, which is give me a high five, like, smash that subscribe, smash that like button for me. So I'm not gonna say this is my last ever, Ray Fisher discussion. I won't say this is my last ever Ray Fisher discussion. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with this, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lighten up on the Ray Fisher stuff. I've got a lot more things that I would like to cover. I'd really like to be covering The Boys season 2, my Mulan review. I want to get on to doing my Tenet review as well. So it's just Ray Fisher keeps coming. So Ray Fisher just now has responded to Warner Brothers allegations against basically Warner Brothers responded to what Ray Fisher has been the allegations he's been making against Geoff Johns and the rest of Warner Brothers that were involved in the production of the Justice League movie, which is this $300 million movie mess, and must have been a huge stress for Warner Brothers at the time. Now, as I've said, I have never wanted to take sides and say and write, because everyone's my brother and sister, but like, as I said, I have a special bond to black people, and I'm never gonna write a black person off who's complaining about this and just say, yo, he's chatting shit. But it just seems to me that it's maybe it's something about the way young people these days do shit, but this is whack. This is the way he's going about this is whack. But at least, look, he had to respond. He had to respond to what Warner Brothers said today. And he's made a response, and I'm going to read it out and tell you my thoughts on it. It's going to be quick. I'm not going to go over too long. I'm going to do a quick refresher on what Warner Brothers said about him. So as we have from Dateline or Deadline, what Warner Brothers actually said about, our man, our brother Ray Fisher. So regarding his allegations that Joss Whedon was gross, abusive on the set of Justice League, Warner Brothers replied with a long retort. In July, Mr. Fisher's representatives asked DC Films president Walter Hamada to talk to Mr. Fisher about his concerns during the production of Justice League. The two had previously spoken when Mr. Hamada asked him to reprise. And remember, please guys, if you're listening, do smash the like button. Make sure that you get the likes up on this. So and comment as well. I'm going to be looking at the comments, and anybody who wants to comment, if you're watching, I will respond to any comments that you have. Yeah, so if there's anybody, I can see there's somebody in the comment section now. Do me a favor, mate, give me a high five, please smash the like button, and also please do comment any questions that you want. Once I've gone over how Ray Fisher responded, I'll get to any of the comments you have. So any questions you have, let me know in the live chat, yeah? Okay, so I'm just finishing off reading what the Deadline had to say about the Ray Fisher allegations. Okay, so in July, so Mr. Hamada explained that creative difference. Oh, sorry, I have to go back a bit. in their July disagreements, Mr. Fisher recounted disagreements he'd had with the film's creative team regarding his portrayal of Cyborg and complained that his suggested script revisions were not adopted. Mr. Hamada explained that creative differences are a normal part of the production process and that the film's writer-director ultimately had to be in charge of the matters. Notably, Mr. Hamada also told Mr. Fisher that he would elevate his concerns to Warner Media so that it could conduct an investigation. At no time did Mr. Hamada ever throw anyone under the bus, as Mr. Fisher has falsely claimed, or render any judgments about the Justice League production, in which Mr. Hamada had no involvement since filming occurred before Mr. Hamada was elevated to his current position. While Mr. Fisher never alleged any actionable misconduct, and that's the important thing here, everything that they're saying right now, that that Ray Fisher, about Ray Fisher, everything they're saying in this has been prepped and looked over by a lawyer, and he's looked at all of the communications between Ray Fisher, or she has looked at all of the communications between Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers and ensured that this is completely in line with that, so that Ray Fisher has no recourse to sue or litigate upon this statement, because this statement is incredibly harmful to his career. It's a finisher. This will finish his career. If this is true, or even if he can't prove that this is not true, his career is over. So I'm not even saying, even if he's not lying, but he cannot prove that he's not lying, and this statement stands, his career is gone. Warner Media nonetheless initiated an investigation into the concerns he'd raised about his character's portrayal. Still not satisfied, Mr. Fisher insisted that Warner Media hire an independent third-party investigator. This investigator has attempted multiple times to meet with Mr. Fisher to discuss his concerns, but to date, Mr. Fisher has declined to speak to the investigator. Warner Brothers remains committed to accountability and to the well-being of every cast, blah blah blah. It also remains committed to investigating any specific credible allegations of misconduct, which thus Mr. Fisher has failed to provide. Yeah? So, guys, remember, do give me a high five, make sure, and do comment any questions that you want to ask me. I'll be answering the questions once I've gone over Ray Fisher's Twitter response to this. So that was the response, and what I've said before this, which is really, really important, is that Ray Fisher's issue now is that either these guys are lying and he can sue the hell out of them, right? Or alternatively, he's lying and what they're saying is absolutely 100% true. But there's a third option which is equally damning for him, which is that he may be telling the truth, but he can't prove what his allegations are, which he still hasn't been forthcoming about what exactly happened. So if he can't prove it, that's as good as it not being true. And they have said everything. I'm telling you, these guys will be very, very careful to have looked through every single thing they stated in that long response to ensure that everything they said is true. And now I'm looking at Ray Fisher's response to this on his Twitter page. Where did it go? Where did it go? I had it up. Here we go. So Ray Fisher says, regarding this, as you can see, thank you for all your support and for seeing through Warner Pictures' desperate and scattershot attempt to discredit me to continue protecting those in power. I met with the investigator via Zoom on August 26th. Below is an email sent to my team and immediately after. So, I mean, essentially what he's saying here is that they lied. He's trying to claim that they did lie about, basically what they've lied about him not getting in contact with the investigator. But he does actually kind of contradict himself here, because what Warner Brothers is going to reply to this, if you see what he says in the email. So here's the full email. Hey crew, just got off the line with the investigator. Had to end the interview early before going into detail with him. So again, he's just admitted that he is not so far given Warner Brothers any actionable, anything actionable that they can actually work upon to actually, go to Joss Whedon and say, or go to cast and crew and say, can you confirm that Joss Whedon was acting like this or doing this? He hasn't given them anything actionable, anything that they can work with. So they're investigating, as far as they're concerned, a ghost, right? So he's definitely been put on the case by Warner Brothers Pictures, not Warner Media. His findings will go directly and solely to Warner Brothers Pictures legal, which is, that's kind of, you could say it's shady and you might want to look into it. He also had another person on the line as a witness, which we weren't made aware of. I told him I needed to have a rep on the line as security for myself. I mean, this guy's going on like this is some X-Files shit. What did they fucking do to you, Ray Fisher? Just give us some, like a little, I don't know, like, you can't keep going on and on about this and expecting people to... What are we supporting? What are we supporting, Ray Fisher? Why are you saying, we, and we're going to get it done, and all of this? Are you talking about the Snyder Cult here? Because that's all I can think of. Because they're the only one with any invested interest in taking Warner Brothers or Jeff Johns, one of the greatest comic book writers of the 20th and 21st century, down. Why would anyone want to take Jeff Johns down? Every comic reader's favorite uncle. Like, give us something. I don't mind taking him down if he's a bad guy, but what did he do? And you're asking us to support you on faith when we don't even know you. Who are you, Ray Fisher? We don't know you. Nobody knows you. All we know is you're a Hollywood actor who is very sensitive about getting his barber a credit on a $300 million movie, which, has loads and loads of problems, right? And I'm sure that's the last thing Jeff Johns and everyone else was thinking about after your guy Zack Snyder had essentially torpedoed the entire Justice League DCEU franchise single-handedly. Pit a hole that they're still trying to get out of. I don't know what's going on with this. And again, I am not saying Ray Fisher is lying. Ray Fisher may well be telling the truth. But as of now, from what he's told us, there is no reason for any single person on the planet to be supporting Ray Fisher on the basis of what he's saying. He tried to keep me on the line, but I told him I would need to consult my team before proceeding. Can we jump on a call and discuss soon? Best, Ray. So this kind of confirms what they were saying, that, the investigator tried to get in contact with them. He was sketchy about it and didn't really want to be very responsive. Didn't tell him, the investigator, what was going on. I mean, surely, did the investigator just phone him out of the blue? They didn't plan this ahead? Like, didn't the investigator say, hey, I'd really like to sit down and speak to you about, these things that you've been saying. Is there a time that would be convenient for us to speak? And this was on the 26th of August, mind you. The 26th of August. This is the 5th of September. He hasn't had time in between then. Like, when the investigation started, why did he tweet after that? They started an investigation. Why did he try and take Walter Hamada down after they had already started an investigation? Which Walter Hamada, by all means, was one of the people who greenlit and helped to organize. So why was he tweeting about Walter Hamada? This is how deep this goes. It goes up to Walter Hamada level. He should have waited till he'd spoken with his lawyer and whatever, and sat down with the investigator and put his case forward and ensured that it went through, all the proper channels. And then if they tried to blackball him after that, then he could start his tweeting campaign again. But what are we supposed to... We're going to get it done. Who are we? That's what I want to know. Isn't this between you and Warner Brothers? Who's we? You mean the Snyder fans who want to get rid of people like Geoff Johns and possibly even Walter Hamada because they see that the DCU is actually becoming quite successful right now? 22 million or something watched DC fandom. Everyone's talking about the Batman trailer. Everyone's there's multiple videos breaking down, Riddler's ciphers and everyone's excited about this film. They're not interested, as much in the Ben Affleck Batman anymore. People have actually moved on, and you're worried that they're moving away from Snyder's vision too much before you get to your glorious Justice League, which is supposedly going to change all of our minds. So we're going to be begging for Snyder to come back. Is that it? So you're who is we? That's what I want to know. Who is we? Thank you for all your support and for seeing through the desperate and scattershot. Who is you? Who's supporting you? Snyder people trying to get rid of Geoff Johns. Okay, it's also worth noting that I made it clear to the world on August 21st that I would be vetting the investigator to ensure a fair and protected process for all witnesses. Warner Brothers Pictures has escalated this to an entirely different level, but I'm ready to meet the challenge. Entertainment over accountability, mate, because you are an entertaining motherfucker. You ought to be a comedian with the shit you're pulling. Tell us what they fucking did. It's like, I'm starting to think, what the fuck could he have done? What the fuck? Geoff Johns. Never a complaint against him in the industry. Supposedly one of the nicest guys in the industry. What could this guy have done? I'm really baffled. I want to know. Like now. And I know you might be going through a process, but you've got to either let that process fulfill itself and then come out and say what you've got to say and stop with all this Twitter warrior shit. Building an army, an allegiance of people backing you who have no idea what they're backing you for. For all they know, you might be complaining about Geoff Johns deflating your tire wheel for your bike, and this is the abusive behavior you're talking about. It could be anything between that and him calling you the N-word and get out of my room. Get out of my office. What you said, a veiled threat when you discussed what Geoff Johns did to you. You called it a veiled threat. Well, that's not even that bad. A veiled threat. I'd expect, given all of this secrecy and X-Files style secret agent, undercover shit that you're doing with anonymous sources and people who don't want to get outed by the system, man. Like, I'm expecting with all of that maybe you've got a little bit more than he gave a veiled threat. Do you know how many veiled threats most people go through at work every day, who go and work for bloody, nothing? And you're working for 300,000, someone gave you a veiled threat and you're bothered by that? Give us some substance. Otherwise, by the time you actually tell us what these people did to you, which is, as again, there's part of me that almost believes you. But until you tell us what they've done and stop with all this millennial Twitter, Facebook, Instagram warrior bullshit, this online warrior bullshit, until you stop with that and give us some substance, you're just going to alienate us so far that by the time you actually come out with something, if it isn't that big, bruh, if it's something that was bad and they should be punished for, but it ain't that big, people are going to get on your shit. People are going to get on your shit. People are already calling you the Jussie Smollett of the Warner Brothers WB. I mean, look, and this is the last thing. I'm going to see if nobody's watching at the moment. But people are calling you the Jussie Smollett of Warner Brothers, bruh.
Yesterday that there's going to be a third-party independent investigation, but even with those things, you do need to make sure that the folks that you're dealing with are on the level, because at the end of the day, those people are being paid by somebody, and finding out who's paying them and how all that stuff is being sorted out is extremely important. So you've got to do your due diligence, you've got to fact check, and you can't just take those things on face value. So I appreciate the support. Just know your boy is going to keep trying to fight the good fight. And as I've said in the past, if this is the only thing I'm blessed to do, if this impacts my career negatively in any way, you know what?
Dude,
I'm glad
it is going to impact your career negatively.
that I was able to stand up for what I believe in.
Well,
Obviously, I put out yesterday that there's going to be a third-party independent investigation, but even with those things, you do need to make sure that the folks that you're dealing with are on the level.
You could have a bigger platform to stand up for what you believe in if you actually make money in Hollywood and become a big star.
It's extremely important.
I mean, dude, you're gonna regret this when you're 40, bro. You're gonna regret the shit out of this. This is not gonna be one of your proud moments. People are gonna look at you like you're, dude. Dude, he better have like sexually harassed you. At this point, Jeff Johns better have sexually harassed you. I mean, I'm saying Josh Whedon better have taken you aside and said, I want to tickle your balls, and if you don't let me tickle your balls, I'm going to get rid of you off this Justice League film. Or lie to Warner Brothers that you did something. He better have molested you at this point or done something super racist. Like, what did he do? So let me just talk quickly. So that was that. What did I want to do? The last thing. I want to check just quickly some of these replies. Oh, for God's sake. Let's go here. Okay, let's check some of his responses to all of this, because he had 72 replies. I want to see what people are saying, because I don't know if people are supporting him that too tough anymore. I'm not going to write to you, bro. Retweets. Ray, I'm not saying you're lying, but you've come out with all these accusations against Josh and Jeff, but you've given no examples or specification on what actually happened. Because of this, I'm reluctant to believe you until you specify a few things that happened. Right, exactly. He's suing them in court. He reveals info he can reveal after the court case is done. But he hasn't said that he's suing them in court. He said that he's had an internal investigation with Warner Brothers. I don't understand. How's he suing them in court? If he says I'm suing you in court, I'm suing them in court, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I can see why you're not giving the information. As I said in my previous tweet, I feel like if you're will call someone out for something as serious as this, then you need something back to back it up. rather than being a blame game. Who am I calling out? So I'm not going to read through all of that. I just wanted to know what the response was. But just some other people. Keep standing for what is right, brother. We hear you. Accountability is more important than entertainment. These people are leading you astray, Ray. We thank you for your bravery, Ray. For tweeting. That's what constitutes bravery these days. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. There must be accountability. For what? For what? And he has all these followers. He's probably blocking anyone who's saying anything bad about it. Enough is enough at Warner Brothers. It's time to face the truth. Except that cast of JL was handled badly, especially Ray and Zach, and to hold every oppressor in any capacity accountable. See, and it goes on and on with these guys. Snyder Cult, what can I say? And anyway, that's me done. I really just wanted to get on and respond to the latest thing. I probably will keep abreast of this, but if this starts getting in the way of me actually doing content on, you know, the responses, like reviews and stuff like that, I'm gonna maybe give it a break until I can, you know, really find something more significant. Oh, sorry, until he says something more significant. There's part of me that half, you know, I'm not willing to dismiss him completely, but I just think he's being a drama queen. Even if something did happen to him, this is not the way you act. This is just not the way you act. You don't become a Twitter warrior. It's, you know. Anyway, that's me, the Nerd Man. This is With Enough Prep Time, and love you 3000. Please remember, give me a high five, like, subscribe if you like the content, and do make sure that you give me your comments on what you think about his latest response.